Well, folks, here we are again. Another bad outing for this New Jersey Devils club. Devils back at the Rock hosting the Flames, and the New Jersey Devils fall by a score of 5-4. This one was painful. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And gather around, kids. Gather around. Grab your loser beverages, because win or lose, we booze. Win or lose, we booze. And tonight, we sip on loser beverages once again. Cheers to all of you. Another just, what is there to say anymore, folks? I mean, this team has just sucked the life out of all of us. Really sucked the life out of all of us. We go to the game. And in signature 25-26 New Jersey Devils fashion, give up kind of an early goal at 5:04. Beecher beats Markey, and I'm not going to lie, after that one, I don't know why, I just felt like if the Devils score first tonight, they'll win. If they don't, they won't. But they go down 1-0 at 5:04, and then former friend Kevin Ball, former New Jersey Devil, because why would not multiple New Jersey Devils register goals tonight against them? Because that's what happens when former Devils come to town. Kevin Ball beats Markey on the slapper at 14:07, makes it 2-0. And at that point, I said, game over. I just had no faith that they would overcome that, given where we are in the season and what we've seen. But late in the period at, my eyes are going here, 16-14, Sipakov registers his first point as a New Jersey Devil from Bukestad, his first point as a Devil as well. Cuts the lead to 2-1, and the Rock comes to life a little bit. A little bit of life at the Rock, and that is how the first period would end. 2-1 Flames. We head to the second. Devils on carryover power play time. Jack ate his stick, drew a double minor. We've seen that before. And Devils did nothing with the first. It was about it was only 54 seconds. I'm looking at the goal. I'm an idiot. I believe the penalty was about with 2.5 minutes left in the first. It was a double minor. Devils do nothing on that portion of the power play. Carries over to the second, and not only do the Devils fail to score, well, they do score on it, but not before giving up a shorty. Beecher gets his second of the game, third of the season, shorthanded, backbreaker, 3-1 Flames at that point. Nemo scores this, I think a second left in the power play. Nice play by Nemo, assisted by Luke and Markey. Cuts it to 3-2 Flames. And then former New Jersey Devil at 16:46, Igor Sharangovich gets in tight all alone and beats Markey with the backhander. Puts Calgary on top 4-2. That is how the second would end. And going into the third period that we're down 2. This is over. I think they showed the stat that going into the third period, like the Devils, if they're trailing, basically, I think they've won one game maybe. It's something ridiculous. I don't even remember. I'm just numb at this point, folks. But 4-2 Calgary after 2. We go to the third. Backlund increases the lead to 5-2 at 4:10. And at that point, okay, that is the game. Game over. The season's been over. Devils down 5-2. And then in somewhat garbage time at 9:38, Jack gets off a nice wrister from Bratter and Dougie. Cuts it to 5-3. And then in typical Devils fashion, pull the goalie late. Very late penalty, I think, with 54 seconds left. And then Luke, with 4 seconds left, it was 3.7 seconds left. Luke gets his 6th of the season from Bratter and Jack to make it 5-4. That's how it would end, obviously. And just a painful loss. Obviously, Markey didn't play good. Just sloppy play by everybody. Don't let me forget to get into the post-game comments after all this, but I'm just so disgusted, folks. Game stats: Calgary 28 shots on goal, Devils 31. Devils getting the better of the faceoffs, 56.4% to 43.6% for the Flames. Devils go 1 for 3 on the power play. Great. Flames do not get a power play chance, as the New Jersey Devils did not take any penalties tonight. Hits and blocks. This is where it's like, and even when you watch the game, it looked like obviously both of these teams suck, and the Flames are even worse than the Devils. But when you watch the game, it looked like one team had nothing to play for, the Devils, and one team kind of did, the Flames. Regardless of where they were in the standings, the Flames just had a much better effort, and very obvious in the hits and blocks. Devils 14 hits to the Flames 22. Devils only 8 block shots to the Flames 21. So you're talking about a combined hit and block shots total. You guys know I'm big on these. Devils hits plus block shots 22. Hits and block shots for the Flames 43. Despite where they are in the standings, one team played like the game mattered, one did not. Almost doubled up in the hits and block shots combined. Devils 15 giveaways, Flames 18 giveaways. Devils 4 takeaways, and the Flames with 5 takeaways. Player stats. It's just painful to even go through this. Timo, 2 shots, a block, and a hit. Haminaho, 3 shots and a hit. Siplikov with the goal, 3 hits. Bratter, 2 assists and a block. Jack, a goal and an assist, 6 shots, and still a -2 on the ice for 4 goals against. Markey, it's just painful to even go through this. Luke Hughes with a 2-point night, goal and an assist, 5 shots. Hopefully that's something we could see into next year, just a little more active and a better elevated Luke Hughes. But this season just sucks so much, guys. I'm just devastated. Markey, 23 saves on 28 shots. Rough one for Markey. The season is it just can't end soon enough. And I have to say, it is just heartbreaking stuff. And when we're just going to get smacked and just have terrible outings down the stretch, it makes it that much more depressing. We still have like another month plus a little bit of the season. And it's just like, I just want to be put out of my misery, to be honest. I love this team, but to watch these types of efforts combined with the outlook of the front office and everything that's happened for the past several seasons, the future is bright, guys. That's why I got to protect these retinas, because the future is so bright. But, there's not much for me to be positive about right now. There's just not. There's just nothing to look forward to. I'm still going to look forward to October, but without some big-time changes, I'm not expecting a whole lot different, and it just seems like we're going to be watching a movie that we've watched plenty of times before and that we know the ending to, and it's unfortunate. It is super unfortunate. Let me just see something here real quick. We're going to get to the chat in a second. Yeah, it's just devastating, folks. This season really took a toll on a lot of us. Probably one of the worst Devil seasons, and we said this months ago. One of the worst Devil seasons in years. And in terms of, it's hard because I was a kid. I've talked about this before. I think this might be more painful than the 95-96 season for me. I know a lot of people will disagree, but at least we had won the cup the year before. Obviously, super disappointing to fail to make the playoffs. But I don't know. I guess as much as it sucked at the time, it was like we had just won the cup the year before. I don't know. For this team to just go out there and completely fold after the start that they had, it's a lot to kind of process with all the disappointing seasons before. But we go to the chat. Evan Spitzy, thank you for the super. Only 1 month left. Can't watch much more of this. No, I'm totally with you, man. It's a painful product to watch. We've been just beaten emotionally in so many ways, whether it's, get us all believing with an 8-game heater or other little stretches of play that seem somewhat promising. But in the end, this team is who they are. They've showed us who they are plenty of times. And it's time we start believing him. I mean, I've been pretty clear on my thoughts for a while. I know a lot of people try to be more optimistic and at some points, honestly, delusional. Like anyone that legitimately believed we were going to make the playoffs going into the Olympic break. I mean, I feel bad for people like that. It just, I wanted to see it. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to see it and was rooting for it to happen, but the odds were just so overwhelmingly against them that it was never reality. And here we are once again, missing the playoffs, a long offseason, millions of questions surrounding this team going into the offseason. Let's be real. I mean, this offseason, I think given everything that's happened and where we're at and contract statuses of certain guys, I'm going to say this is the biggest offseason in the past 2 decades for the New Jersey Devils. This could be the biggest offseason in the past 20 years or so. What would that bring us back to, like 06? Yeah, it's probably, if not it's definitely one of the biggest off seasons in the past 20 years. Christopher M says, I don't know. I normally like to hit games post spring forward. This year really sucked the life out of me. Time to hit the pen. Yeah, I love when the weather starts getting a little bit better. Love going to games, gearing up for the playoffs. But as I've told you guys, I just cannot get myself to support what this organization allows to continue. It's just super unfortunate, but I cannot in my right consciousness. Furthermore, the money and the time and all that, it's a big effort to go. It is somewhat of a commitment, and given what has happened, I just cannot do it to myself. Crazy Alex says, I would have liked to move on deadline day, not like it would have done anything. No, it wasn't going to do anything in the short term, but when you're looking at the long term, outlook of the team, you would have liked to have seen at a minimum a defenseman sold off to free up cap space and get some assets as we gear up for the summer. Even one guy, that's just one less thing you have to do. Obviously, it was a seller's market. Teams were paying pretty crazy premiums for players. You would imagine that a wise GM, given where the Devils were and the roster that they have, that someone on defense would have got traded. Somebody, whoever it was. It did not happen, and we're just kicking the can down the road, just like they've done with winning, talking about, the future is bright, winning will come, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing with the personnel moves, and we've talked about it for a few weeks now, I feel like, at least. There's just so many things to tend to this summer, and I think if Fitz is still here, he is going to be quite overwhelmed. You're talking about a Arseny Gritsuk contract. He's an RFA. You're talking about a Nemo contract as an RFA, which could be very ugly, or a trade or a possible contract and trade. The whole Nemo situation is big. What is going to become of Dougie Hamilton? Does Nico plan on staying? What are you going to do to tweak the bottom six yet again? Hopefully we don't see some major budget Band-Aid type fixes. And obviously, everyone would like to see a top six winger now. So you look at all these projects that are on the Tom Fitzgerald, or at least should be on the Tom Fitzgerald summer to-do list. Who has confidence that he's going to do all of these things? Let's be real. Vecna, when are you shipping out the hoodies? Everyone's going to get an email when they go out. It'll probably be either next week or late next week or early the following week, but everyone will get an email. They're in production. Vecna Fitzgerald, can't wait to see Fitz at the helm come October. I think there's a good chance. I hope it doesn't happen, but I think there's at least a 60% chance. Rye A12, I don't care anymore if I'm a doomer. Just sell the team, please. This team has so much potential, man. What the heck? Yeah, I don't think that makes you a doomer. I think a lot of us have our issues with the ownership group, but in the end, while it does start with them, Fitz has also just been problematic. And how much the owners have to do with that, I don't know. But I'm certainly not going to give Fitz any sort of outs or, excuses because of them. It's just been a rough go. Yo Home says disgraceful beverages. B-Poi 985, I was hoping we would have been shut out again. I want to see goals at least. Gregory, what are we doing starting Markey 3 in a row? At this point, listen, I don't care. I think they're trying to test the theory of if you play him a lot, if you just ride him, will you get better play out of him? And I think he's probably been trying to tell them that. Maybe he's convinced Rogalski of this as well. Maybe he convinced the analytics people. I don't really know. But I'd imagine Marky's been pushing for this. And now that the season has been over for quite a while, I just think they're experimenting with it. And at this point, I don't care. Now, if Allen was in there, could we have won the game tonight? I'm going to say absolutely. And I would probably be, I'm never going to get mad about riding the goalie. But in the end, could Allen have won this game tonight? I believe he could have. But, like, who cares? The season is long over. So I do think to some extent they are experimenting with just riding Marky. What was tonight, his 6th straight start or something? Obviously, he played 2 different back-to-backs in like a week. Stuff that they would have never done earlier in the season. And so I have to believe that they are just kind of experimenting. If you ride Marky, what happens? So I think it's pretty much what I would have predicted will happen. You'll get some great games out of him when you get some stinkers. That kind of seems like where Marky's at right now. Sunrise says, what an absolutely exhausting team. I agree. Robbie's bench toss tears in our beers. Christopher, Ace knows the Siplikov acquisition was genius. It was really more of a guy you had to take back to get rid of Palat acquisition. B-Boy, what draft picks are we looking at? We're going to be picking in the top 10. Corey Robinson, Beecher couldn't score in an AHL game, but he scored 2 tonight. Pathetic. Yep. 2 goals, one of them being a shorty. What are we doing starting Marky 5 in a row? I mean, Keefe is smarter than that. Have to think Fitz is calling the shots. I don't even know if it's Fitz or if it's the analytics people. I'm sure there's a bunch of people involved. But, like, how mad can you even be? Like, do you honestly even feel anything about it? I can't. The game was meaningless. Do whatever you want. I'm going to watch the games. But at this point, yeah. Could Allen have won the game? Probably. But even if he did, well, what's the difference? It means nothing. John T says, end the Nico as captain experiment. It's not what he is. I knew people are going to start up with this too. Like, I think it's too soon. And I don't know that you could even, it's just, I don't know. A lot of people have been talking about this, and I feel like if you're even considering something like that, then you trade him, especially with the contract situation coming up, right? Again, we don't know where his head is at. Does he want to be here? Does he want to test free agency? And I wouldn't be surprised. He hates losing. If you saw him in the post-game press conference, he looked furious. I think he even said losing sucks or something. But he looks fed up, and he may very well want out for a new destination, a new scenery. Tyler, this one I want to blame Keefe for. I get Marky confidence is great, and I'm fine with him being the defined starter post-break, but all these starts with no rest. Allen deserves a start at minimum. Well, he had 3 days rest, so it's not really an issue of that. Like Keefe said in the post-game press conference, if you're going to question anything, it would be questioning the second game of the back-to-backs, not tonight. He had 3 full days of rest. Benjamin, we just lost in spectacular fashion to the Calgary Flames. Yes, we did. Mr. White, horrible showing tonight. Our top guys playing like they don't have a care in the world. Inexcusable stuff by Jack all game long, and Brat is just horrible. Rough night for Jack for sure, despite the points. In the post-game press conference, Keefe did say something along the lines of like he didn't, play a puck cleanly all night or something. I don't remember, but a little critical, but I don't think it was anything crazy that people were trying to make it out to be earlier. But there'll be games like that. Brat, I don't even know what happened to him. This whole season for Bratter hopefully is just some sort of weird anomaly that we never see again. But bad season for him, obviously. Christopher says, end the Nico captain experiment. Again, I don't see it happening. Spencer Rugg. I genuinely don't enjoy watching the current team and how it's organized. There's nothing for me to consistently come back for. Yeah, unless you're an absolute diehard like I am and many of you are, or if not all of you, what is there to come back for? I mean, it's just a losing brand of hockey. The craziest thing is not only would I have told you you're crazy in the summer if you told me we were going to miss the playoffs, but if you told me we were going to I would say that honestly we were firmly out. I mean, when would the consensus be that we were out and the mathematical probability? It had to be sometime in probably January, but I think in December I told you guys I was just over it, that I just came to grips with the fact they weren't going to make it. But the season has been over for so long. It's just insane. I would have never seen it coming. Brian J says the season can't end any sooner. Benjamin, nobody making millions gives a shit. Why should I? I totally get it. I totally get it. B-boy, next year, same team, same results. I hope we see something, some sort of change in the summer, but I'm just so beaten down as a fan right now in every regard. Doing these shows are painful. And I try to not, dwell on certain things. Some of you guys are super negative, and I get it. But man, Mr. White, we gave up 5 goals to the worst offensive team in the league when they were on the road without Kadri, and we had 3 nights off, and they had 3 games in 4 nights. Yeah, the deck was fully stacked in the Devils' favor. Well-rested versus a team that was not well-rested, playing a ton of games in this post-Olympic condensed schedule on the road. Calgary's, I think, the worst road team in the league, and obviously one of the worst teams in the league. Second worst team in the league, I think, overall. Just a terrible team at the end of a trip or in the middle of a road trip, whatever it is, 3 games in 4 nights. And when you have 3 nights off against the team that is second to worst in the league, even as the Devils, you got to take care of business, and they did not. Just sloppy play all night. Robbie's bench toss. Belchitz, Malhotra, Lawrence, Stenberg, McKenna, none of them help us now, or wow, me and Tom will F it up if he picks, trade it. Oh, you guys know where I'm at. The time to win is now. If it's not now, it's not going to be for a very long time. I would trade the pick no matter what. James Valenti says fire Fitz. Devs fan 202, Markey's reflexes look off on both sides since returning from the injury. Dano mentioned the team really sank after the first goal. Yeah, it was not a great one. Wow. Mr. White says, if we don't move Hischier this summer, we'll be having these same post games in 26, 27. I don't know if that, outside of it, him being traded for some big, huge impact piece, I don't think it necessarily needs to be him, but there's got to be a big shakeup. I do agree. If there's no big shakeup or addition or whatever you want to call it, a real revamping, I could totally see them missing the playoffs again next year. I mean, I really can. B-Poi says Nico Dawes should be starting all the rest of the games. It's not going to happen. Nico Dawes is just going to be another one of the goalies that, over time have slipped through the organization, and no one really saw that Jake Allen team-friendly contract coming. I think everybody, including the Devils organization, thought Jake Allen was going to cash in, and the likely tandem that I believe the team thought they were going to have rolling into the season was Markstrom-Dawes. I fully believe that's what they had counted for. And then Allen signed the super team-friendly 1.8 times 5, and here we are. Dawes will be gone this summer. It is what it is. I always liked him and thought he could have given us some solid play. Sunrise Arts, I started this week to not really watch the games. The season needs to end quick, exhausting. Christopher says Nico and Nemo for Brady and Jake Sanderson. I don't think Ottawa does that. Michael, Keith last game interview sounded so depressed. I think he knows he's done. At this point, I can't even predict what's going to happen. There's just no logic or reasoning to any of this. Robbie's bench toss, 95, 96, 12, 13 this year are my 3 worst seasons in that order. Really? I mean, 12, 13 sucked too, but I don't think more than this. Because at least in 11, 12, they went to the finals. I get it. It's personal preference, but that's a pretty solid list. Frank Body says, want to get more depressed? Just check out our Utica team, last place and devoid of talent. I can't get that depressed about that, to be honest. It's obviously not a good sign. And we all know the cupboard is fairly bare. Not a lot of promising guys in the wings due to poor drafting, poor development of players. But I am right now just focused on the woes of our beloved New Jersey Devils. MSG Vault says this team needs a full teardown from management to players. Yeah. Not all the players, but some. There's got to be a big time change. Without a big time change, we are just going to be watching the same movie again and again and again. John T says, we say all these negative things and how we need it to end, yet a week after the regular season ends, folks will be crying how great they are and how they miss them. I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe watching games or the team or whatever, but in terms of just this is just a slow bleed out, and it's painful. David S says, "A's looks so down, dude." It's not. I've accepted our fate a long time ago, but just to watch a team again, like Mr. White pointed out, everything in our favor, well rested against a team worse than us, playing their third game in 4 nights, and we just come out and play like that. It's just like, fold it up. Maybe we should just forfeit the rest of the schedule. Sunrise Arts, I have this lingering feeling nothing is going to happen this offseason, nothing of substance, nothing. Fitz will be here, there, pretend we are ready to go. That would be pretty wild. A franchise-altering offseason for sure. Benjamin, there's a locker room cancer. Grits alluded to it the other night. We all know what it is. Whoa, tell me more about this. When was, I must have missed this. When was that? All right, I fell behind. I gotta skip ahead here. Yeah, I need to know what he's talking about. Mr. White, the Devils are ass, the 76ers are ass, the Commanders are ass. The HBSE group do not know how to build winning teams. They're just there for the profits. I agreed with that to some extent, that money's the most important thing. But I would also like to believe that if there was a competent GM, you could potentially win under them. But they aren't going to be the ones kind of proactively chasing it, if that makes sense. Jason says take Mercer out of the top 6. John T, send the Hughes to Minnesota. The Hughes factor needs to be gone. It's never happening. Never happening. Doug, must suck for the players to see the arena so empty, but it's well-deserved. I'm glad we have to bleed the owner's pockets. I don't think it was empty, was it? I mean, I said a while back that the whole golden goal thing definitely is going to help with attendance for the rest of the season. Without that, the attendance would have been brutal. Christopher says it starts with leadership. Who wears the C? Well, if Nico is ever traded, 1,000% the C will go to Jack Hughes. Snow says, I don't know why Gritsuk isn't playing top 6 minutes, because they're just experimenting with lines. It's just we're just watching experiments. We're just watching experiments. I'm scanning some of these comments. You guys are funny. Samuel, I have no questions left. The management can't use the men's room. Never mind improve this team. No faith in management, ownership, or players. I'm 72 years old. Better chance seeing Christ. Let me go. Yeah. Oh man. I mean, if we don't laugh, we'll cry, right? I mean, my God, it's just so disappointing and so sad on so many levels. And it's like, I told you guys, I think I said it over a year ago. When I told you guys, my goal is to see one more cup before I die. Now I think some of you are starting to understand why. Alan says if Nico's face during his interview is any indication of him walking, he is gone for sure. I don't put that much stock into stuff like that, but I do believe that losing is taking a toll on him, and he would welcome going to a different team. Jason, I want to see the young kids play. Bring up LaChance and Xavier Perrant. I'm all about bring up everybody at this point. John T says, why make Perrant's life miserable? Let him have fun where he is. Trust me, he'd much rather be here, no matter how bad the team is doing. Samuel says, management sees Markey as a way to tank, looking to draft another waste. I can't believe that. Do you guys really think that? Come on. That they're like, play Markey so we finish worse? I mean, that'd be crazy. Jason says I would take a real run at Nyes. I mean, I was excited by that rumor on deadline day. Be Nyes on the line with Jack and Brady. Oh my God, bro. Come on, man. You think We're not going to get either one of them. Never mind both of them. There's a million. I mean, let's just start with cap space. But obviously, that would be a beautiful line. But let's be real. That's more of a. It's nice. Nice is American, and he's 23. That could potentially be a killer Team USA line at the 2030 Olympics. Gregory, agree. It's too soon to start the trade Nico discussion. It's not necessarily like he's been given the surrounding pieces he has needed to succeed. Well, my Nico trade talk would stem solely from him conveying to the team that he does not want to sign here. If that's the case, then you got to start seeing what's out there. Justin says, end the Sheldon Keefe experiment. You guys know how I feel about that. Snow, I thought they would make the playoffs. Never thought they were good enough to win a cup. Well, we're nowhere even near playoffs. Forget cup. But, I mean, I think even the most pessimistic fans thought the playoffs were a guarantee. GSA says we can't keep trading our captains, Andy Green, Langenbrenner, Parisi, and now Hischier. That's not a good trend. Well, I mean, I don't think it really matters, to be honest. Tons of captains get traded for a lot of different reasons. The Nico thing would be solely predicated on his contract status. Snow says, I don't want to see this core anymore. It's enough. I thought it should have been the last dance, as you guys know. Jason said they tried. It doesn't work. David chimes, I gave up rational hope when we lost to Columbus 2 games before the break. Jack's golden goal got my heart a little back in it. Chowski says, the question we need to ask ourselves, Ace, if Lou would have Nico as captain, I think that's a no. I agree with that. Different time, different league. But to your point, actually, I'm just trying to think about this. Given the circumstances, it is possible. It could have happened. Now, I'll agree that wouldn't be Lou's ideal pick. But at the time, Nico was young. He was the new face of the franchise. They needed kind of a PR kind of move. And so I understand how they got there. But I honestly think he's the furthest thing from the problem. I just think overall this thing's rotten. David S. Ace, to be honest, what's more depressing than the Devils losing is going to be the end of your live streams after games in about a month. It's going to be one long summer not doing these once the season ends. I'll probably do. I haven't figured it out. Every year I debate what to do. I'll do some streams or something during the playoffs. I don't know if it'll maybe be like a couple times a week. If I'll pick a random team, I probably won't pick a random team because I guess I don't have to do a stream. Obviously, for every game that I watch tons of games. So yeah, I don't want to do that either. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a couple games a week or just generic streams. I don't know, but doing these after Devils games lately has just been painful. Danny says Pesce is a good choice. Christopher, Pesce as captain would be 100% the right choice. In a vacuum, I agree with that. But typically, teams look to make a younger guy the captain who's going to be here for a while. But yeah, I mean, Pesce's obviously captain material for sure. Corey, for things to change, ownership has to want to win, and it seems that's not the case. Ownership has to make a change to fix this, and look what can happen when change is made. See Buffalo and Columbus. We'll see. If I had to predict, I think he comes back. I hope he doesn't, but we've seen logic not really applied to a lot of scenarios with different things, and so it makes it very unpredictable. Traveling, what's up? I bet they do trade Nico so they could put the C on Jack. I don't think they would trade him specifically for that, but I do think, if Nico says he's not going to sign this summer, then it makes it very easy for them to wrap their heads around trading him and doing just that, making Jack the captain. Snow, there's zero fight from this team, no fights, no big hits, zero response. But are you surprised? That's been the story all season. There's no going down swinging. It's just going down very silently and quietly. Mr. White, we don't hit, we don't block shots, we don't fight, we don't stand up for teammates. Those are the rules I played in the 2025 Pond Hockey Tournament in Toronto. David Chimes, here's my question. If we make no other big changes other than firing Cancer Fitz, do we get back into the playoffs next season? First of all, no. No, Chimes, because that's bringing back the same team. But the reality is, if they do fire Fitz, then you would believe that the person replacing him would be tasked with doing something to fix this team, and I believe that they would. I don't think they're going to fire Fitz to bring in a new GM to have him do nothing and bring the same team back next year. Jersey 61, get the season over with already. Gregory Perez, by the way, new follower here. Keep up the great work. Ace, love the content. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Greg. Mr. White. I'm watching the Avs right now, and it's even more depressing because we're light years away from that team. Yeah, you're talking about the cream of the crop, baby. The Avs are just a juggernaut. It is funny, though, when you do watch, like a West Coast game between two playoff teams, and you're like, my God, this is a different brand of hockey I'm watching. Jay Snow, the team is the most disappointing given expectations to be the 15th worst team in the East. Wait, what? This team is the most disappointing? I don't know what that means. Devils were like a top 5 preseason cup favorite once again. John Fay, the Avs are 10 years ahead of the Devils. Christopher says, I think personally Nico needs to be traded. The guy is cooked. I don't think so. I just think this season is weighing on him heavily. Jason, watching the Avs is like watching a different sport. Faye, they're stuck in limbo away from the 22-23 season. Sunrise Arts, remember, folks, make sure you don't fall for a hot start next year. Trust your gut. Oh, man, I bought that fool's gold. That 8-game win streak hit like crack. Hit like crack in New York City in the 80s. Oh, man, it was so good, that 8-game winning streak. Doug Fitz thinks his core could win because of that season. And here we are in 2026, and no big additions have been made since then. Doug says Newark is the worst possible place to host a team. I don't like it, but I don't think that really matters much in the grand scheme of things. George, the core players checked out in January, and the coaches and players have been going through the motions and never had any faith they were going anywhere, much less the playoffs. Wow. Christopher says Mercy can honestly go to Toronto along with a third for Nyes. Mercer and a third for Nyes? They're not doing that. Toronto. Evan says Tom doesn't do anything this offseason. We all know this. Mr. White, ownership has their fingerprints on all of this. They have to approve close to every single deal, and they fact check with their analytic team, which is a horrible way of building a hockey team. You keep saying this. I'm curious if this is true. You believe that he has to approve every single thing that he does with ownership? Doug said, I saw photos from inside and the upper sections were thin. I mean, that makes sense. I don't care about Sharon Govich. We traded him to get to Foley. Austin, notice there's a few ex-Devils that scored for Calgary tonight and it came back to bite us. Every former player comes back and scores against us. That's nothing new. That is another New Jersey Devils trend that is almost a guarantee. When former players come back, they have big nights against the New Jersey Devils. Yeah. Doug said, easiest bets you can make as a Devils fan is betting on former players to score on us. It's a near guarantee. Kevin Ball shot from the point and scored on slow Markstrom. He has seemed slow to react in some instances as of late. Stanislav, the team has a lot of talent but no heart. I think that's certainly a fair question at this point, right? Can their heart ever match their talent? You look at the roster on paper and you're like, oh, this is a good team, but this season would suggest otherwise. Yeah, we always get burned by ex-Devils. Vecna, thank God for Ace in our post-game therapy sessions. These are getting harder and harder to do. I'm not going to lie. Christopher, Nyes to Nylander up to use scores. Stanislav, thumbs up for you, Ace. I fell asleep watching them play. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. John Fay, if Nico is stripped of the C, I hope they don't give the C to anyone until someone proves they are worthy of the C. Oh, Fay, you're insane. And again, they're never going to strip Nico of the C. So if he gets dealt, they would name Jack Hughes the captain either the same day or the next day. Renstem, bro, you fans are so typical. Nico is so important to the team. I know he's had a down season, but I feel in another market he would thrive. I do too. I just feel like, and hopefully he gets it, this whole team gets it together while he's still here, but I can see him just being kind of over the whole thing and looking for a fresh start somewhere else. We're going to see what he wants to do this summer with that contract. Austin, Devils should not trade Nico. Should not trade Nico. It's all his fault. Devils need to sign Nico and trade Mercer, Hamilton, and Dillon. Christopher, you're crazy. Nico is definitely valuable. Mr. White said, Lou would have never gave the C to a 22-year-old kid with zero experience. Not a shot in hell. I'd have to look back at what the other options were, but he probably wouldn't have. He would have probably had a short term, even if it was rotating from vets. But this is a new world, man. They're trying to market the team and do all this. I'm sure that decision had several parties involved. Alan, Ace, I sit in front of my TV game after game like you, and I'm sure any true Devils fans, and just sit there really so confused of what is really wrong with this team. The season is so baffling. Well, Chicago cut derailed the season, and then once they kind of started slipping in the standings, they just imploded. Austin said, Keefe shouldn't be fired. It's the players that aren't performing. Does the same shit in this chat every night. Feels like purgatory. David S. Ace, do you think any player in the Devils has a realistic shot at 30 goals this year? No. Definitely not. Jersey says trade everyone. David Chimes, change running with the Devils to Allen with the Wild, jousting with the Knights, or drilling with the Oilers for the playoffs. I think I'm going to just, if I do anything with the playoffs, it'll just be probably random games or whatever, Samuel, Ace, if you were Nico, would you extend? Absolutely not. No, I would not. Doug, if we got Quinn Hughes, you would have snagged that captaincy from Nico, but thanks to Fitz, we'll never have Quinn now. Quinn was never going to be the captain. That wouldn't have happened. But missing on landing him is brutal. Saravo, Nico is not a problem, but not captain material. On this team, it should be Pesci. Ovi wasn't a good captain until 17-18 when they won the cup. He stepped up that year. Yeah, but the thing is, Pesci's not here forever. So they're I understand, and they're not going to take it from a guy like Nico once he has it. That's the crazy part. That you guys think they're going to take it. They're not going to pull a Toronto. Westbound Olympics says Pesci is not a captain, good player, but not a leader. No, I think Pesci would be a good captain. David said, telling you Fitz is a demoralizing cancer. Buffalo traded nobody and turned around 180 after removing GM cancer. Yeah, but you can't just assume that that's going to happen for every team. Like in the end, if you look at their team, I think they have a better team. They just have a better team. Sarava says missing the playoffs in 23-24 messed them mentally. I've said that forever, that I think missing the playoffs that year did irreversible damage to the psyche of this team. I will never be convinced otherwise. Justin says, Ace, Utica's only 6 points out of the final playoff spot. Well, they're much closer to the playoffs than the Devils are. John Fay, I believe it. Ownership has them in their pockets like a dog on a leash. Westbound on Olympics said all we needed was a Coleman goal tonight. Yeah, we saw the baller and Sharon Govich one. David Chime says lack of heart is because Fitz is a loser vampire that sucks out complete culture. I don't know that he ever really had it, to be honest. I think that's been a problem for a long time, but it's gonna be a long month. Yeah, hit the like. Thanks. Hit the like. Maria says even SST has given up. Well, one of his names got blocked for his incessant smack talk. I think he needs time to cool off. I'm sure he'll come back at some point with a different name. Doug, if we had owners who cared, changes would have been made after the 9-0 loss to a division rival, and that's where the country club atmosphere starts. That Islander game was brutal. Brutal. You had to, I think everyone thought once no one was fired after that no one was going to be fired, and that is how this is playing out. Christopher Nico would be a third liner on another team? No way, man. He's a great 2C on a deep playoff team. Yeah, I'm with you, Westbound. Nico's a top 6 on any team. Exactly. Great 2C on a cup-winning team. Christopher, I don't know where you're coming up with that. Like Nico's this terrible player. I think it's kind of crazy. It's not even kind of crazy. It's very crazy. Joshua Lee, Ace, do you genuinely think the Devils have a future if we keep Fitz and Keefe for next year? I mean, if you had to pick, I would say no, but I'm not blaming Keefe in this. I think it's Fitz and his just inactivity and just unwillingness to make the tough decisions. Like, there's got to be a big move this summer. Now, is there a world where Fitz comes back and he does make some sort of impactful move this summer? It's definitely possible. I don't think it's likely, and I'm not counting on it. I'm preparing myself for just another, more of the same. But there is a world where he does something that helps. We talk about something better like Italy or something. Anything other than the Devils. The Nico hate's crazy. The Nico hate is wild. Ren Stem, Islanders own Tri-State Hockey, unfortunately. Yeah, Islanders looking like a dangerous team, or at least a little dangerous, led by phenom Matthew Schaefer and Ilya Sorokin in net. I could see them winning a round or two in the playoffs for sure. Mr. White, Buffalo's on a 3-game winning streak before they fired Adams, and it's his team that's going on a rampage. Where did I get this hat? This one, I just got a similar one in the mail too. Wait, hold on. This was a giveaway at an event, but bear with me 1 second. I'm digging something out of the closet. I meant to compare them. So this is a hat I just got. I've been looking for another one that's similar to this. Yeah, this one has a bigger logo by a good margin, and I like it better. The problem is I can't wear this one forward because of the bill. This is a Mitchell and Ness, so this is a backwards hat. Let me check something. As soon as I saw it, I posted it because I know a lot of people had expressed interest in the hat. But let me just double check. I think it was sold out for sure. I tried to give folks the heads up. Oh man, I'm checking something else. Yeah, it's sold out right now. I'll keep an eye on it. But if you follow me on the old X and the community, I don't know if people really mess with the posts. I don't even know if people see this on YouTube, honestly. But there is like a post page that I post stuff when I find it. Like as soon as that hat, where'd it go? As soon as this popped up, I posted it to let people know because so many people had talked about this hat that I'm wearing right now in the past when I had worn it. So I knew it was a style that people liked, and rightfully so. I mean, the red logo without the circle on a black hat's pretty sick. I'm looking for something else. Where is... Nothing's easy to find when you need it, folks. But follow your boy on X, and you will see these things in real time, like when this hat released. I'm always on the prowl. I'm always on the prowl and always happy to share my finds. But I'll be looking for this one. A couple of my buddies were like, "Oh, you didn't tell me." I'm like, "Dude, I thought I told you. You know, I can't." I told him I posted it. Follow it on X. You know, when the cool stuff drops and I see it. Is it possible to wear this? Someone asked me. You can't bend these hats like, yeah, like, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna. Come on, this is a backwards hat. This is a forwards hat. This is a beautiful snapback. This one was not for sale. This one was. But follow your boy on X, and you will see stuff like that. I'm looking at these comments. Some of you guys are brutal. Mr. White, imagine getting paid millions to put your feet on your desk and just wait for the clock to hit 5 o'clock and do the same thing over and over again. The no trade clauses have made these guys bulletproof. While that's true, like, do you really believe that is the, I don't know, the source of the issues? Like, I understand that when that is the case, that, yeah, there is no, I guess, for lack of a better term, fear. You know, when you know you have trade protection, you're not like playing like to stay on the team kind of thing. I don't know. I don't necessarily correlate all the trade protection with the team struggling. Now, there could be something there. I could be totally wrong. I just think that this group is not it. I mean, that's really what I believe. I don't think it's a. I don't know how much the trade protection genuinely comes into play there, but it certainly makes it harder to trade some guys when you need to. I mean, there's no questioning that. Now, I did think there was a chance they were going to try to trade Kovacevic, but then on deadline day, James Nichols talked to him and he was like, I'm not going anywhere. I have trade protection. So his name kind of came off the board, but I definitely thought Nemo or Dougie would be gone. Oh, but I also dropped in the link. If you live under a rock and you weren't aware, I believe it's going to be the last, so they say, the last Jack Hughes USA jersey Nike restock. I think there's only small left in one color and small and medium left in the other, but I just dropped that link in the chat as well. If you haven't I just put it in the chat. If you haven't gotten your jersey yet. But yeah, it's just a painful time, guys. A lot of people fighting about Nico. I'm a Nico guy. Would love to see him here. Services, I love grits too. I agree, Brett. It's a rough season for a lot of these guys, folks. I mean, it's just been a terrible year for everybody. Jeremy Proper, does Allen cash in on a big bonus if he plays more than 30 games, or is this to run Markey to death? I don't. As far as I know, I don't think Allen has any sort of bonus situation dependent on games played. And even if he did, I don't think they would do a stunt like that, like, play Markey a million games to avoid paying Allen the bonus. Now, I could be wrong, but I just don't see them doing that. I don't think there is any bonus. What is this? Tied 2 games played for him. David said Nico dropped the gloves versus Toronto to try to spark us. That he did. Well, that didn't work. This is the link for the Jack jerseys. I just dropped the link in the chat. I'll pin it as well. That's the working link if you haven't gotten your jersey yet. Yeah, USA, guys. It literally, it doesn't come close to easing the entire sting of the season or even close to it. But it helped a lot because without that, we got nothing. We have absolutely nothing without that. We got Brady Tkachuk would do wonders for this team. Yeah, Brady's the dream. Brady would be the dream. I got excited about Nyes. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I don't think Brady's a possibility. That'd be the ultimate dream. The thought of Nyes was exciting on deadline day as well, but that didn't happen either. Doug said no one could score. It's a fundamental roster issue. Completely agree. We need big shakeups. Christopher says Nyes and Brady. First of all, Nyes and Brady would be – there's just no way. I would be happy with either one. Ren says Devils can't trade for anyone because they don't have the pieces besides Nemo. They have draft picks, and they do have Nemo. You could also trade a guy from the core, obviously. You have a guy like Mercer. Yeah, I mean, Mercer's a clown ship. Yeah, I don't agree with Mercer's a clown. I like Mercer. But if you could package him to do this kind of revamp, to give this team a new look, you got to look at it. But there's definitely pieces. I don't know what you guys are fighting about. I can't keep track in the chat. Christopher H. never said if you wanted Hall & Oates as our goal song if Nyes comes to New Jersey. What's the song? Justin said Selection Sunday is 3 days away. March Madness. Yeah, I used to like it, to follow it a lot more when I was younger. As I've gotten older, I've gotten more preoccupied with a bunch of nonsense. But Matthew says, you see the hit on Austin Matthews might be done for the year. No, I did not. Done for the year from a hit? Mr. White says, check the record we have with Nico as a captain. That's the only proof we need. Well, it's definitely below 500 with some of these bad teams. Making My Dreams, Hall & Oates, Toronto's old goal song. Well, no one has goal songs. The goal song is the same for everybody, and it should be Rock and Roll Part 2. Ren Mercer started off so good and has gotten so much worse. He started off on fire on the wing, but then with all the injuries and stuff, he got put to center, and he was kind of in and out at center, and I think it just kind of messed up his flow. But we need some big-time moves. We need a change of culture. I agree with that. Ren says Timo was supposed to be a goal scorer. Timo was supposed to be a right winger, and he was supposed to be on power play 1. Criminally mismanaged since he's been here. David says, watch Eklund's goal from tonight's San Jose at Boston game. Best highlight reel of NHL this season. I'll check that out when I put on the network when I go in bed after this. Yeah, these are getting so much harder to do. My God. Doug, we have lefty playmakers and lefty grinders. Gudis nailed him knee on knee. Did he get a penalty? Timo's supposed to be a goal scorer for sure. Timo was, but we use him wrong. Rem says Timo was brought in to score goals and hasn't done that at all. George, Devils marketing department must have a great time selling plans for next season. Fans are losing interest in this group, and the future is bright, and Jack is green. Corey says, Mr. White, I agree. Nico shouldn't be captain, but he's a 2C on most teams in the league and a 1C on some. Everyone chill with Nico. I think that's a very fair assessment, Corey. I definitely think he's a 2C on whatever team and definitely a 1C on many. And I do think he could be a great piece of a winning team. Now, I hope it happens in New Jersey, but I would not be surprised if he just is over all this and wants to go somewhere else. Gregory, what do you think about Nemitz plus Mercer and/or picks for Nyes? I have to look at his cap hit again, but I think he's under contract for a while at like a little over $7 million. Nemo plus Mercer, I definitely consider it. I would definitely consider it. Man, the fighting in the comments. Serve, these same fans blame Lindy Ruff, who's now bringing Buffalo to the playoffs for the first time in I don't know how many years. I think scapegoating coaches is kind of getting tired now. At what point are people going to be like, the same core group of players has been here? That's a constant throughout all these years and all these different coaches. Mr. White says Nemitz, Mercer, and a 2026 for Nyes. Seems expensive, but I would definitely consider that as well. Beachmaster says Captain Jack. My man, M. Payton, everyone hating on Timo for no goals, not realizing he's literally second only to Nico for team leading goals. Yeah, I just don't know if people thought he was going to be a perennial 50 goal scorer. Like, I just don't know what people expected. When you look at this team this year, the offense is just non-existent. I mean, across the board, pretty much. It's unfortunate, but it's hard for me to like single out and kill one guy when they've collectively as a group sucked. Completely sucked. Completely sucked. Follow me on X. I'm going to leave this there for a minute. I'll be right back. 1 second. I got to go grab something. And we'll start. Man, it's only been an hour. This is good. Yeah, this, and it was a painful hour too. I'll be right back. 1 second. Yeah, these shows are just getting harder to get through. Jeremy Proper, Toffoli 40 points this year. Yeah, the Sharks are one of the teams in the West I'll be pulling for in the playoffs for sure. Mr. White, couldn't care less about our picks. Magic Beans don't help this team anytime soon, and we either have to shit or get off the pot. Could not agree more. I've been saying forever. I have zero interest in drafting with picks for the next several years, foreseeable future. The time to win is now. If we do not try to win now, it will not be anytime soon, and we will perpetually be talking about the bright future that these shades are protecting my eyeballs from. Devils then says Jack and Markstrom were dog shit tonight. Please put me out of my misery. They were. Just the name says that's the mark you were used to. Oh, well, don't think it would have made a difference anyway in the standings. Future is bright, especially next season with the same tandem forward group. Samuel says, if you were a free agent, would you sign here? Thinking sign in Italy before here for 29% of the pay. The free agent list isn't even the most impressive anyway. I mean, I think there's going to have to be some trades. Doug said, not like we have the cap to sign free agents. Can't even re-sign Nemo and Grits. Fundamental issues from ownership down to players. Matthew E says, next show, can you do a deep dive into Jack's love life with Tate McRae like a TMZ style? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. John Fay says, we as viewers as well as Ace have no trade and no move clauses. Yeah, we're all here. At least I am. Doug says, Mark, you have a save percentage under 900 and you get $6 million and a no trade clause. Serve, I'm finding a new person to put all the blame on, and it's LaGreca. I guess that's supposed to say LaGreca to blame. The Devils announcer, he brought a weird Ranger curse with him. I mean, listen, we had struggles before Don went in the booth. I think this is a Fitzgerald issue. Austin, Devil's Den, every game it's the same shit, different teams. I'm actually shaking. I'm so angry. Oh, my level of that, Austin, was gone months ago. I'm numb to this now. I was texting with Steve the Maniac, and after the second goal, he was like writing a bunch of stuff, and I was like, buddy, like, really? Like, you're reacting that whatever to this? I was like, I literally felt nothing when I watched it go in. I just sat there and was just, stunned. Davis is bursting with the Stars, skiing with the Avalanche, and cracking with the Kraken. Mr. White, can we veto Markey's extension like the Ravens did with the Max Crosby deal? Yeah, I heard something about that. No, Markey's going to be here, guys. Our only hope is that he could turn it around. And I'm pretty sure they're just experimenting with what happens when this man gets a ton of starts. Devils won't even be able to pay Nico. I'm sure they'll be able to make this space. I'm not worried about that. Johnny Dang says, Ace, in your opinion, is this the end of Nico Hischier, New Jersey? I hope not. I hope not, but I wouldn't blame him at all if he wanted to go somewhere else in free agency. I mean, if I was him, I would. He'll be the first guy, I think, in the history of my fandom that I did not like actually like. No, I guess a lot of the guys I did get mad at, but like I wouldn't blame him at all for wanting to leave because the ship is sinking. Like I wouldn't blame him at all, and I would wish him well and root for him on whatever team he went to. He's not had the proper support throughout his entire career in this organization. Samuel says, love the chap. I've had enough for tonight for the season. Really, I get it, man. Just the name. Sorry for the Markey hate, Ace. My expectations aren't very high anymore. I guess I'm a defeated, sad Devils fan. I get it. I get it. Serve says we're going to regret losing Nico. Trust me on that. I agree with you. I mean, we would definitely miss him when he's gone. And most people don't want to just get rid of him. Some of the people here do for whatever reason, because people are just bloodthirsty at times like this. But losing Nico Hischier would not be positive. But if he's not going to re-sign here, then you're going to have to trade him at some point. Doug, never in a million years did I think the Giants would be coming from the ashes and prepping for a better future than the Devils after 22-23. Well, here we are. Here we are. Faye says the Rags are now 4 points away from us. Mr. White, I really like Corey Schneider. He's spot on all of his comments and isn't a massive homer like Kenny and Sal. He's definitely a little more in tune with reality. For sure. Snow, this team is so soft they can't win any 50-50 battles. Pucks, everything one and dones for us. I just think they're checked out. Devils Den, I can't help it, man. I'm just so tired of all the excuses that this team, specifically certain players, get to excuse all the BS. The season's over, and it's looking like that on the ice, unfortunately. I don't know what this is about Niedermeyer. What about Niedermeyer? You butchered the spelling. Doug Sebastian, it's like they're desperately trying to inflate Markey's numbers so extension doesn't look as bad, but it's chalks now. I don't think that's the case. I just think it's an experiment to see what happens when you play him a ton. I really don't think they care what his numbers are going to be. He's already signed. Johnny Dang says, Ace, is Fitzy coming back next season? I hope not, but if I had to bet on it, I would think that he does. But the only thing, a lot of people have speculated, like, oh, maybe, the owners told him he couldn't make any moves at the deadline and then he's going to get fired. Like, the only thing I could do is hope that there's some truth to that. But I just think he's that bad and that he will be back. but fingers crossed that that's not the case. Jason Schneid's doesn't sugarcoat it. He tells it like it is. Faye, time to accept our fate as the last team in the East. Serb, none of our top 6 forwards know how to check at all. I don't think they learned how to check growing up. They're not that type of player. And that's the thing I've been saying forever is, again, just redundant type of players. You need to bring in some dogs, bring in guys that give you a different look and start morphing the identity of this team away from what it has been for the past several seasons into something else, into a more well-balanced, well-rounded type of lineup. We don't have it right now. We're a soft finesse team. It is what it is. Chimes, growling with the Bruins, fishing with the Islanders, or waddling with the Penguins. I think, have you covered all the playoff teams yet, Dave? Running from the Devils. Man, you guys are just... B.A. Bram, Knives and Carlo for Nemitz and Mercer in a second and a third. We need a new look. We need a new look some way, somehow. I don't know what it's going to be, if there's going to be anything, and I would not be surprised if there's not major changes before next year. If I had to bet on it, I would expect a similar offseason to last. Some just bottom 6 tweaks. It would not surprise me. I'm hoping that's not the case, but would anyone really be surprised? I mean, how could you at this point, right? If you are surprised, then it's really just shame on us. The playbook has been out there. We know what we're going to get, and it's not going to be much. Would love to be wrong about this one of these summers where something big really materializes, but so let's go Buffalo. Devils then. I know that he will, but if Fitz is back next year, I'm resorting to drinking during my videos. There's a good chance that he will be. Doug, so excited for the next Salayev, for Salayev to come and make an immediate impact on this team. I don't know are you being serious or not, Doug? I can't tell. I'm not expecting an immediate impact from Salayev, and I don't think he's going to be here next year. I think he's firmly plays at minimum a full season in the AHL for Utica. Backs and Racks gives up another first shot goal. It's a thing. Was it the first shot? It was the first shot on goal, right? Yeah, I don't even think they were even remotely threatening. Serve, I'll be honest, I'm rooting for the Canadians. I like a lot of their players and are a really fun team to watch. A few other people have said that too. In the East, I'll definitely be pulling for the Isles and Sabres. Doug says, because another developing teenager is exactly what we need, and Fitz isn't capable of trading high-end picks or drafting high-end prospects. Yeah, I would love to trade all these picks. I just don't think it's going to happen. Justin Markstrom is 5 years past his prime. Again, we got him for 2 more years after this, guys. Oh, Doug, the Slav comment about having another top 10 pick. Yeah, you guys know where I'm at firmly. I wanted to trade the pick that we picked Salayev with. I wanted to trade the number 2, and we took Nemo. We should have been trading those picks for known commodities. Serve giving us all the Montreal exciting players that we got. Just Misery. Johnny Danks, Ace, can you think about bringing live callers on next season so we could all vent together? I'm going to do it. I've been threatening it for a while. Before the end of the season, there will be some live call-in shows. I know it's just going to be so ugly. Jay Snow, Markey with a minus 2.77 goals saved above expected. That's brutal. Yeah. It looked it tonight. Doug said, can't wait for the Yegorov era. The future is bright in New Jersey. Probably another 2 or 3 seasons away. Probably 3 seasons. Ryan Demand says he's rolling with the Lightning. I could see that. Snow said, I thought Demidov would have had a bigger year. I would have thought all of the New Jersey Devils would have had a bigger year, folks. I don't have anything else. I mean, I don't even know how I made it this far. This has been painful. My God, there's another month of this. I don't know how. Can we just call it a season, guys? It was a good year. You guys are awesome. I'll see you in October. I mean, between this was the longest. Like, I feel like I've been on here for 5 hours and it's been an hour. Some of you guys are super negative. I mean, overall, everybody's pretty negative, but some of you are like super negative. And the games are hard enough to watch. Never mind talk about them after. Mr. White, I remember when we were told we got the defenseman whisperer in Bradshaw. This guy needs to talk a little louder because whatever he's saying, our guys can't hear any of it. Frank, players don't tank, but they definitely reach a point where they just go through the motions. The Devils have multiple players doing that right now. Faye, I'm rolling with the Isles or Sabres from the East, and the Avs are Wild from the West because why not? I can never go with the Avs. My top two in the East would probably be Isles and Sabres, and then in the West, it would be Wild and Sharks, and I guess Oilers too for Henrique and McDavid. Ryan Demand, we better make the playoffs next season. At this point, I don't even know what to say, guys. I mean, I'm just so defeated. Doug, we could start a book club instead. Serve says we're starting Markey on Saturday versus the Kings. John Fay, I wish we could throw in the towel, Ace, but let's just ride out the disaster of a season until later April. Just a name, legit question. Will Dawes get another look this season? Absolutely not. He's gone. He's leaving in the offseason. What are they going to bring him up for now? Allen will get another look for sure. David said they should give Dawes time in the AHL. It's not going to happen. He has no future here. He's got one foot out the door, signing with another club the second he's eligible to. Gleason, I still remember being yelled at about how we were promised to compete this whole decade. If we lost for another year, you got to make the picks and you got to win the games. No one has promised anything. That was the bright future that we were sold for a while. In fact, we didn't even get one playoff run. Ryan, why has Allen not been playing? Why is it always Markey lately? I said earlier, I just think it's an experiment. They're trying to see what happens. Do you get a better Markey if you play him consistently? Either that or, I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, unless Allen's like sick or something, but they probably would have said that. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's an experiment, really. I just think it's an experiment. Devil's Den, for me, it's Montreal and Buffalo in the East, Minnesota and the Sharks in the West. I really hope these guys do well. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be pulling for the Sharks. What an exciting team. Celebrini's unbelievable to watch. And my man Billy G and Quinn Hughes out in Minnesota. And I like Boldy a lot, too. I've told you guys about that. David Reed in with the Devils. Faye, the season makes you want to run up a mountain, then run down the mountain, and then run back up the same mountain the other way. All right, that's it, guys. I'm done. I don't even know how I made it this far. Devils lose 5-4. Completely painful one. Too little, too late. Sloppy play all around. Markey didn't have a good game, and they just looked like a team that doesn't care if they win or lose because it doesn't matter because the season's been over, and that's what it looked like, unfortunately. Wish it was not the case. We are going to have to suffer through another, 17 or 16 games? Brutal stuff. Back at the Rock Saturday night against the Kings, and I have no expectations, like I've said for a while. I'm always going to watch. I'm a diehard fan. Hopefully we see something to give us moments of happiness within these games, but it's all over. It's been over, and it is what it is. October is 7 months away, guys. 7 months. I'm devastated. I'm going to go look for snacks now and watch NHL Network in my bed while I cry myself to sleep. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go.